What is up, and welcome to SGPN's The Daily Dog. I'm your host, Britton Hess. I'm here with my favorite Underdog Fantasy Pick'em plays for Monday, August 19th, 2024. If you're new to Underdog Fantasy, sign up with the promo code DAILYDOG, DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app. All right, let's get right into picks. Last week was pretty frustrating because I think I got one pick right every single day, and there was mostly two slips last week, but I could not get winning picks on the same slip for the life of me. Let's get back to our winning ways here with a nice big three-legger to start off the week. There's three that I really, really love on this card, and honestly, it's a pretty low-key baseball or low-key good baseball card if you like to play player props. There's a lot of angles out there. I probably will be posting about some stuff that's beyond what is covered in this show on Twitter tomorrow. So if you're not following me at Britton Hess. Because, obviously at the time I record this, to make sure that it's available at 6 a.m. Eastern time, or 6 a.m. Eastern. The full Underdog board isn't out yet, so there's a lot of stuff that I don't really get a chance to include on these slips I do in this show. That said, I've got three that I really love here, and I'm going to be starting out with an OG of this show, Starling Marte, one of the guys that won us slips in the first week that this show was on your podcast feed and on YouTube. So we're going back to Starling Marte, coming back from an injury, higher than 1.5 total bases at a 1.27x multiplier. I love that value in Marte. He's facing against Trevor Rogers of the Orioles, which still, it sounds weird saying Trevor Rogers of the Orioles because obviously he was a Marlins pitcher for the majority of his career thus far. But that said, these Mets have seen Trevor Rogers plenty as a former divisional foe. Starling Marte is 4 of 12 for a 3.33 average against Trevor Rogers. So I think that this is a nice soft spot for him to get back in the lineup and make an impact on this Mets team early in his return to action after a 2-month layoff. I believe he got hurt on June 22nd, so he's been out a good 2 months here. And he's having a really solid season. I think he's batting in the high 270s. And again, he was playing really well before injury slowed him down. So I think that he's going to hit the ground running and add another spark to this Mets team that still has, I think they still have plenty to play for. I don't think, they're a World Series dark horse or anything like that, but they can still win some games and still try to make some noise here. And don't look now, but this Mets lineup is actually pretty good. It can beat you in a lot of different ways. Obviously, Lindor and Alonso are the headliners. You got Nimmo, who's obviously a good, top of the order power and good base running guy. And then, JD Martinez, professional hitter. He's actually slowed down in the back half of this season, but I would not be surprised if JD Martinez gets back involved in offense for this team in a major way as they kind of try to close out this season. Like I said, JD's just a pro hitter. Then obviously Mark Vientos, the kind of out of nowhere, success story. The guy's hitting bombs left and right, it feels like. They got Jesse Winker in that lineup now, who's another guy who can swing the stick. And then Marte coming back is just another element of this team that can do damage. And I should also say other guys in the back half of this order are kind of tricky. Harrison Bader, he's not obviously awesome, but he's a guy you don't want on the bases, that's for sure. So the pitchers have to think about that. And then Jeff McNeil, he's sneaky. He shows up with big games every once in a while. And when you're getting that out of the 7, 8, 9 hole, that is a good thing. So I'm taking Starling Marte. Sorry, I just gave a rundown of the entire batting order for the Mets there. But if you're a Mets fan, hopefully you're not giving up yet, because I think Marte is actually going to add some more juice to this lineup that maybe has slowed down a touch. The Grimet's fever may have cooled a bit. But I think Marte is going to do a lot to help this lineup stay hot, stay competitive, and stay putting more runs on the board, because honestly they should be scoring 3-4 runs a game, and that was not necessarily the case over the weekend. So I'm going to be going with Starling Marte, higher than 1.5 total bases, big double. Let's start off your first at bat, Marte. Let's get a big double and get this slip started off right. Next, we're going to Tyler O'Neill to get a knock versus Yusei Kikuchi in the Astros. When I say get a knock, that means higher than 0.5 total bases. Kikuchi, lefty, high strikeout, high home runs. He, when the ball gets hit off Kikuchi, it gets hit really hard. And I think Tyler O'Neill, just this guy is in this lineup because he's supposed to help them against lefties as a right-handed batter, and he does that very well. I think that he is definitely capable of getting a hit in this game, if not off Kikuchi versus someone else. And, spoiler alert, I think Kikuchi's going to have his worst start as a Astro so far this season in this game. Don't look now, but the Red Sox have actually been hitting lefties better lately. That was kind of a weak spot for them early on in the year, but now they're just fine, top quarter, top third of the league in average versus lefties. So I just think that, Kikuchi could have trouble here. And every guy basically on this Red Sox team has seen Kikuchi multiple times because he's a former division foe. He was on the Orioles not long ago, like a month ago. So I think Tyler O'Neill can do work here. Tyler O'Neill does have a very small sample size against Yusei Kikuchi, but it's a good one. He's 2 for 2, so I'll take that. That's better than being 0 for 2, I guess. And then my last pick on this slip is going to be Otto Lopez. He is sleeper, or he's not a sleeper. He's just low-key good. People don't necessarily know he's good. He's batting .271 in August. He's on a 3-game hit streak. He's got hits in 8 of his last 10 games. Yesterday, he hit 2 doubles. He's a guy that performs for this Marlins team when there's not too many guys performing. Obviously, they've got the youth movement. They've got a bunch of random dudes sliding through that lineup. But Otto has been in the lineup when he's healthy all year, and he's produced more than you would expect. Yeah, he's not batting .300. He's not going to hit 30 home runs. But he hits big. He makes big plays for this team, and he just needs one hit against the D-backs and Brandon Pfaadt. I think Brandon Pfaadt is obviously not an elite pitcher in this league. I think that obviously there's going to be a lot of chances, and also the bullpen for obviously the bullpen for the D-backs was in trouble. Now they're back in a major way, but again, Otto Lopez is a guy that you're not really worried about him in the back half of this lineup for the Marlins, and then all of a sudden he slams a double and they drives in a run or two. So I'm taking Otto Lopez higher than half of a total base. These 3 plays together, which are Tyler O'Neill higher than half a total base, Otto Lopez higher than half a total base, and Starling Marte higher than 1.5 total bases, yield a 4.55x multiplier. If we hit this one, we're going to be starting this week off right. So let's get it here. All right, let's talk a little bit about the sponsor and a special bonus show I put out on Sunday, which should be in your podcast feeds or on this YouTube channel if that's where you're consuming this content. If you're new to Underdog, sign up for promo code DailyDog, DAILYDOG at UnderdogFantasy.com or on the Underdog Fantasy app. And I should say that bonus code, DailyDog, is worth more than a lot of the other bonus codes you'll see on Underdog out there. I see other shows that are, quote unquote, much bigger than this one. They're only getting a $100 deposit match bonus. This is $250. This is way more valuable than $100 on your deposit. So if you put $500, you get $250 in free money to play with on there. That obviously, once you use it, roll through it once, you can withdraw it. Same with, you could do $100 and get $50 for free. You could do $25 and get $12.50 for free. You could do $10 on there and get $5 for free. Whatever you're comfortable with. I just think that this promo code is too good to pass up if you're not playing pick'ems on Underdog yet. And that's what's so great about Underdog is that you don't only have to play pick'ems. You can play season-long NFL best ball, and also you can play season-long player prop picks. So that's what I did the show on over the weekend that I put out on Sunday. It was college football season-long picks that I really like. I narrowed down 4 of them that I think have really high value of coming through. There's a lot of really conservative numbers on Underdog. So, spoiler alert, I did lean more towards overs than unders. And so you're always, fading injuries and hoping that does not come through. But some of them I really, I talked about it, one of them on this show before. Aronde Gadsden the second from Syracuse, higher than 550 yards receiving for the season. He could do that. You could be at week 6 and be looking at that, and you could be almost right there. Probably not by week 6, but by week 7 or 8. I don't think he's going to take 12 games to get over that number, so he could actually miss a game or two with injury and still get over that one, because obviously that's a concern with him. He missed last season due to injury. But again, that number's too low considering his quarterback is Kyle McCord. And again, use those promo funds on these season-long things so that you're not taking money out of your bank account and locking it up on the Underdog app for 7 months before you can, figure out if you're going to win or not. Use the bonus funds because that money wasn't in your bank account to start with. So that is my little rant on Underdog, why it's an awesome app, why you should be playing it, and why you should be using the promo code if you haven't done it yet. All right, let's get to the Dong Squad. These are the guys that I think are going to hit home runs in this game or in their games this evening. We're starting out with Rafael Devers. He is 3 of 15 versus Yusei Kikuchi. That seems pretty bad, right? Well, he's got 2 home runs, and he started his career 0 for 10 versus Kikuchi. In his last 2 games versus Kikuchi, he's 3 for 5 with 2 home runs. I think he, obviously, as a player, he's turned a corner since, those 2019, 2020, early in his career days. But also he has found a way to see the ball better versus Kikuchi. And we know Kikuchi is a high variance pitcher. Obviously, he's a very good pitcher. I'm not trying to diminish him when I say high variance. I just mean that when he misses, the results or the ramifications of him missing are usually pretty drastic. He gives up a lot of home runs and gets a lot of strikeouts. That is the nature of the beast when you're that type of pitcher. Next, we're going with the big dumper, Cal Raleigh, higher than half a home run versus Gavin Stone and the Dodgers. I'm a Dodgers fan. This one hurts. But Gavin Stone is already 20 innings pitched higher than his career high. So you can see it in his results lately. His last several starts, he's been giving up home runs. His record's down at 10-5 now after he was off a blazing start. Low key, one of the better guys on this Dodgers staff. I worry about what his role is going to be in the postseason. Hopefully they don't expect too much of him because I feel like he is just breaking down after all this usage that he's not used to. So the big dumper, one of the best powerful hitting switch hitters in Major League Baseball, is going to have favorable conditions at Dodger Stadium. Let me put Big Dumper on the list as well. And when I say Big Dumper, I'm talking about Cal Raleigh. Big Dumper is just his nickname, not his real name. All right, last one, Mike Yastrzemski, value pick here. You're getting a good multiplier on Mike Yastrzemski, left-handed batter. They need more left-handed batters on this Giants team. He's facing Jonathan Cannon of the White Sox, also a guy who's given up a ton of home runs lately. Very favorable conditions in San Francisco. Obviously, that park doesn't necessarily allow for the wind to affect the ball flying out too much, but when you got 15-20 miles per hour blowing out up in San Francisco, that's definitely much better than it blowing in. Usually there's at least slight wind blowing out there, but like I said, when it gets up to 15, 20, 25 miles per hour blowing out there, I start to take notice. If we're going to get consistently 15 miles per hour plus, there should be some gusts, so hopefully Mike Yastrzemski can find one of those gusts of wind and get a ball out of the park. And again, Yastrzemski is much better at hitting for power versus righties and lefties. And, I feel like Cannon is going to give up a couple home runs in this game. That's why I'm trying to find value in here because even their most dominant home run hitters, Chapman, Ramos, Conforto should be back in the lineup as well. Nobody on this team has 20 home runs yet this season, so their home run distribution is actually fairly wide. And again, I think Yastrzemski, he is kind of made to pick on these middling pitchers that are having long ball issues that are right-handed. So Mike Yastrzemski concludes this lineup. So it's a flex play. If it goes 3 for 3, you get 59.59x return on your money. If it goes 2 for 3, you get 8.75x. And again, I'll say it one more time. The show slip is Starling Marte higher than 1.5 total bases, Otto Lopez higher than half a base, and Tyler O'Neill higher than half a base of 4.55x multiplier. All right, that's all I got for you today. Let's make some money.